Oh, hi. Jeez. Sorry, my chair's really squeaky. I was just getting a swatch sheet. Little sheet of paper for testing colour. Hello. Another tutorial video. Hurrah. It went on scheduled at least. At least we know that. Just going to slip this behind that so it doesn't bleed through. Woo. Alright, so we'll give it a bit more time for people to just be prepared for the tutorial video, and also so I can warm up the kneaded eraser. Hello, wow. It's fine, don't be sorry. Yes, you go. You go, Michael. This is so hard to warm up. It's cheap kneaded rubber, that's what I get, I guess. Anyway, this is going to be the tutorial on where I teach you guys how to colour. Hello. So, yes, colouring tutorial. How to use colour. I'm currently going to use probably alcohol markers and coloured pencils for smaller details, because I have thick alcohol markers, which are killing me. I am good, thank you. We're just waiting for people to be ready for the tutorial. Alright, so I've warmed up the kneaded rubber. So with the sketch, you can see here, I've got the notes on the side for some reason, which I'll erase later when we do backgrounds and stuff. So we're going to do, for the sketch, we just, we've just started. So basically what we're going to do is you're going to want to roll out your kneaded rubber into a sort of, I don't know, shape, sausage shape, and then you're just going to want to take away most of the pencil. Like, you're just going to want to roll it over and over until it's like there's going to be no pencil smudges. Like, can you see it's coming off onto the kneaded rubber? It's a piece of blue tack. They work the same, okay? Blue tack works almost the same as a rubber. So after rolling it like a couple of times, it will go pretty light and pretty... What type of paper am I using? I am using sort of like... It's a pretty thin watercolour paper. I got this sketchbook from W.H. Smith. Right, alcohol markers. Yeah, these are... I grace my mother for buying me these. These are Ohuhu markers that I'm going to use. Not sponsored, unfortunately, because my bank account would thank me. But yeah, so if your kneaded rubber isn't picking up enough, just roll it over and mix it again and then try again. And then in the parts where you can see it's a bit darker, you're just going to want to actually pat it, because it takes out some of the pencil bits. You can also edit your sketch as you go as well, if you want to, and then, you know, such and such. I use my pen on paper it's gonna rip apart. It's really about finding what kind of paper works well for you. I don't know why, but this like off-brand sketchbook works really, really well. I don't even remember what brand it was because I found it in the back of my cupboard. Alright, so I'm good, thank you. So now that you've like sort of taken out most of the dark pencil, you can actually start. I'm going to use a piece of, unfortunately I am like unprepared as hell. Actually, wait, no, I'm not. Scratch that, I have found a piece of paper. Scratch being unprepared, I have a piece of paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a like swatch sheet. A sheet of like, where we could test out the colours that we want to use. I usually start with skin tones and hair tones first. So I really want this person to be a bit more on the darker skin tone side, sort of like a tan. So like, I'm going to just start testing out skin colours and then probably write the code next to them. YR29. It's just going to be about it. Or I'm just going to guess. I don't have like the willpower to write down all of it, so I'm just going to take wild guesses. Okay, that's a pretty nice skin colour. These two could go well together, so I'm actually going to keep these to the side. If you guys are wondering, here's the colour things that you're going to use. I mean, that's the colour I'm using for mine, so focus in, please, thank you. So I'm going to keep the markers that I'm going to use to the side. And then I'm also going to use I'm going to find some lighter ones that's going to help with, like, shading in. That's very light, but it may work. It may do us some duty. This is a tutorial on how to colour, because last time we did a tutorial on how to actually draw the character. Okay, this may be a nicer shader than the other one because the other one's too light. So yeah, sorry. So we've got these different, I'm gonna use these skin tones here. So we've got the sort of skin tones. I don't really have any darker ones, which is a real shame. I could maybe test, ooh, that changes. I don't have anything I could shade that with because I'm sort of going for a tan colour. Unless I, oh, that would really be impossible. Is there like any really grey brown? Is that? That is yellow-ish. It's good blonde though, I'll keep that in mind. So we've got like the skin tones here that would work. So from there, probably going to try to search for a hair colour. I was thinking sort of like dark brown with blonde streaks. I don't know why it came to my head. I saw a boy with it today, so I thought, hey, that would look cool. So we've got, that's very light, that's like very yellow. So this works for a really nice dark blonde. But is there any really light, I'm trying to search for a very light, barely noticeable sort of blonde. I said barely noticeable, but whatever, we'll take it. So this is quite tedious and long, but I'm just going to, since this is going to take forever, just remember to test your colours before you use them. So I'm keeping the swatch sheet right here so I can actually test as I go. I'm just going to wing it for now, so we can start with the skin colour. I'm going to try, usually go for the darkest first, is what you're going to want to do. It's not going to be the greatest tanned looking skin colour ever, but whatever. So what you're going to do, think I've messed up the eyes, which I'm going to redraw for a second, using my little handy, oh, I've taken that out. Why have I taken that out? My handy little mechanical rubber. It's like a little cheap little rubber thing that I use. So I'm just going to redraw the eyes, make them look a bit better. So just going to retrace my steps. So I'm going to move an eye up here. That actually works. And then we've got another eye here. There, the expressive eyebrows. So that sort of works for the eyes. I'm kind of happy I got that out of the way so they look a bit better. Again, taking away the pencil so it doesn't destroy. Alright, so JJ, not yet. So we're going to sort of, near where there's going to be shadow, we're going to want to use the darker skin tones as well as near the, like the nose and the ears area. And put it almost to help with the shadow. So this is what I've got so far. It looks a bit terrible. But you're going to want to sort of follow the nose bridge a bit. And then also, depending on what your character's like, you're going to want to have a bit above the eyes, a bit on the cheeks too. Like that. It's going to look really weird at first. So yeah, it's going to look a bit funny at first, but then you'll figure it out eventually. Then you're going to take a bit of a lighter skin tone and work from there. So from the lighter skin tone, you're just going to want to start blending out a bit more and follow those segmented areas to sort of give it that. Currently looking a bit funny, but yeah, that pen is so thin not to destroy it. Yeah. Will this work with colour pencils? Yes, I'm going to use some colour pencils for smaller details later, such as Faber-Castell, most likely. I'm trying to find a suitable colour, but it will work for colour pencils. I'm going to use this as an example. I'm going to take these two purples. For colour pencils, it's a bit different because, as you can see, the paper really affects the texture of how your of how your colour pencil reacts. So like you're going to want to maybe start really light and then shade in other shades that you're going to want to do. But yeah, that's how to use colour pencils. Alcohol markers are my go-to because I don't know why, I find them much easier. So from this, you're just going to want to sort of follow that face line, make sure it's all nicely blended, going well. You can always put more layers after they dry. Gonna put a bit more like shading near the lips area. Like that. And then again, we're gonna go for our lightest colour, which isn't gonna be that much lighter, just to give this sort of that sort of thing. And then we're gonna do that with the arms as well, but I haven't finished. I'm gonna do the arms now. Alright, so we're gonna just put some, so with the elbows again, I think you'd have a bit more like of the darker skin tone on the above part of the arm. Sort of here is a lot darker than maybe the wrist area. So yeah, yeah, probably in my next tutorial I probably will draw a girl, so it makes it a bit easier. Alright, so that's working out. It always looks a bit patchy. Alright, so then we're going to go with the second darkest and start to blend that in little... I use little circular motions for blending. Depends on like what direction. For skin I use, or like smooth areas, I use circular motions. And then for things like hair that need texture, that's a lot of a different story, which we'll work on next, I think. I don't know whether we'll work on like the clothes. The clothes I usually leave till last though. And then also we've got the legs down here that need shading. All right. So the tutorial of how to draw the body is actually on my last live, which you can check out on my channel. You know, and then, yeah. So, is this a boy or a girl? It's a boy. I'm doing a girl on the next one. So, yeah, we've got that, and then, again, with the shins are probably going to be a bit more on the darker side of the skin tone. Like, keeping it on the darker side of the skin tone for the shins, because that's usually how the skin colour works. Sorry, I just realised how pink that went, so I didn't want it to go that pink. So yeah, with that, you're just going to want to follow with... So start with dark and then move up. That would be for alcohol markers. If you're using coloured pencil for this, start with light and then move to dark. So just... By the way, when you guys are done with your drawings, please send me them because I actually want to see them. And then again, these are fingerless gloves, which is going to be tedious. But we're going to have around the fingertips and the knuckles is going to be a bit, you know, darker. Alright, so got that, then we're going to use the other one. These tips are like awful to do this with. What paper is this? Again, I don't actually have a note anywhere because it's a sketchbook that doesn't have a brand actually on it. But it's sort of, it's hard to explain the texture. It's thin, it's really thin. It does bleed through, which is an issue. That's why I have the bleed protector from Ohuhu. So yeah. Oh yes, I do remember you. So yeah, we're gonna keep going with the, ouch. Oh, that hit the wrong kind of thing. Rotating the device back. Thank you. That, I hit my camera and killed it. Whatever, it's back. It's back mildly to its previous position. That's just about it. Whatever. So yeah. And then the fingertips are probably going to have, can you see with these, the joints here are probably going to have a darker skin tone than the middle fingertips kind of thing. Just to sort of give it there. And then the thing with the Ohuhu, they blend so nicely and it's almost like a dream. So here's what we've got so far for this character. He's working with it a little bit. So going to put the skin tones away now because we've basically done them. I'll probably come back to them later when I'm adding the smaller details like dirt. like the dust. All right. So just keep following along. We're going to work probably on the hair, but the thing is there's goggles over the hair, which I need to adjust because the angle they are sitting at looks a little bit funky. So I'm thinking of, yeah, we'll just probably adjust them so they're facing a little bit more onto the forehead rather than off the forehead. You have to like really, with hair, you need to really focus on which way it's flowing, because all, you know how hair has different ways of like flowing around objects, and also on the head, on the actual sculpt, it depends on head shape and such. You know, all of that fun little detailing that makes it really hard to understand the physics and logic of hair. So yeah, we've got that. Gonna lighten it up again, lighten up the goggles. All right, so here, keep, also when you're done after this live stream, please tag me in the art you've made because I really want to see your progress. So with the blonde streaks, I'm gonna go with like really, really, really light, trying to find a nice light yellow that will give, I think this may work. So we're gonna have some like little bits of really nice lightness among the hair, and then I'm going to add in the darker browns. Maybe I'll work with the darker browns first, which is usually a bad idea, but yeah. Find a nice darkest brown. That is a rich dark brown, so a nice rich dark brown. Yeah, I'll stop for a second and let you guys catch up while I try to answer some questions about the art or how to do art. I've just had an idea. What if I just made this kid with like blonde hair and some patches of brown? You know what? Stuff like that. So, any questions about the markers or colored pencil and such, or how to do that? I can't find the dough erasers. I need them for my art. What I did is, as someone who literally didn't have enough money or didn't feel like going outside in public, I used blue tack. And what I did is I took an eraser like this. I rubbed on it a couple of times and caught these little things. So I took like a scrap eraser. I caught these little things, and it basically does the same thing. Yeah, so it does the same thing, and it with blue tack it can work almost the same as like a kneaded rubber, maybe, especially if you just need a quick fix. I mean, this blue tack used to be a lot of a nicer shade of blue, I have to say. But yeah, anyway, I'll probably try to continue now with the hair. So I'll take this darker shade of brown using my little trusty piece of swatch paper to help me out. So with the darker shade of brown, you're just gonna, I start with this part of the hair, the crown. I start by the crown. Oh, I keep dropping things. So yeah, you're gonna start with the crown, right? And then you're just gonna want to work your way down as which parts of the hair are, you're gonna want to follow the way the hair flows. So I'll try to show you an example as you guys try to keep up. So let me find an example. I have quite a couple of really nice examples. These ones are pencil outlined, so it doesn't work as well. But like here, so I used purely shading to get the hair to flow. So just going to quickly do this, hold my place. So with this one, he's got a lot more messy hair that flows. Can you see the direction of which the hair sort of starts to bump or such like that. And then there's, yeah, again, with the straighter hair, it's a lot more straighter than this sort of hair, like that. You can make fan art. Be completely happy to make fan art of me. Please, please, please tag me in it because I would love to melt all over it with appreciation. So again, following the shape of the hair. This is actually a lot smaller. I probably should have drawn this bigger because I didn't anticipate how thick these tips are until now. Oh well, we'll take it. So we're following the flow of this hair as we go and keeping a sort of And then it tucks into the strap right there. So we're going to just do that. And then also with this, you can layer it up as many times as you want. All right, so we've got... And then he's going to have a patch of like blondish hair at some point near the front for funsies. What about black hair? Again, I have black hair, so I don't actually have black hair, but I have a black hair example. Again, with this guy, this is black hair. What I did is I used dark... This may sound really stupid. I used dark blue and grey for it. So I know you're using coloured pencils, so let's try this. All right. Massive recommendation, this brand of pencil, because it's super smooth and super nice. That is a very bright blue, though. Let me grab some darkish blues. That looks like a purple, but I have the swatch card stuck on my wall. So I'm going to grab some of these. This colour, a grey to help out. A grey to be my little helper. The black is currently misplaced. Nope, there he is. Pulling him out of the crowd. All right, so let's say you've got, I don't know, I'm going to do a quick sketch of hair. Do not judge my quick sketching of hair skills. All right, so let's say you've got this head of hair kind of thing. Like sort of like that. You're going to start in the crown with the black. And then you're going to want to just add some parts where the hair sort of curls in a bit. What brand of markers do you use? I use a Hoo markers, and then I use Faber-Castell pencils. So what we're going to do is, let me just plug in my phone before it dies on me. The life support is in. We can continue. So what we're going to do, yeah, we've got just the basics, sort of like that, and then you're going to take your darkest shade of blue. This is purple. It's close enough. Going to take this, and you're just going to start wanting to really lightly go into the lighter areas with the blue sort of thing. I know it looks really sketchy at first. Hello, fellow British person. And then that's a darker grey, may work better. We're going to pull in the greys. I know it looks really light right now. I'm just going to do it as quickly as possible. So you've got the dark and the greys and such. Then we're going to come back in with the black and go over it, make it a bit more prominent, and go sort of over it a bit. Have some of these loose sort of strands of hair. I'm just going to work on this part. And then again in with the blue, not too light of a blue, just a bit of blue. Like the smallest little bit of blue. And then can you see here, if you pull it in right there, that's sort of how you would do it. It's really tedious work with coloured pencils, which makes them oh so much more fun to use and destroy, I guess. So coming back to this, I'm going to start with the blonde that I wanted to do. I'm going to shade it into this and sort of have it come sort of like there's a patch in his head that's just for some reason blonde, which I think is fabulous and would look fabulous on him. That sort of idea. Following the flow of the hair with that blonde, and then again with the brown, now that I know. It's awfully tedious. If you go to the last video, I did show how to draw hair in the last live tutorial that I did. So if you want to see how I did, like how to draw a body or how to draw the hair, then go to the last live tutorial that I did. So then I'm going to go in with a bit more of a lighter shade of brown. It's not a lot lighter, but just to give a bit less of that like patchiness that it looks like. But we're sort of giving it this. And then when we come in with the much, much lighter shades, then you'll see a sort of difference. Almost. Alright, so we've got that. And then I'm going to come in with a nice light shade. Let me just test out the colour. That looks like it will work. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add the lightness around this area. Yeah, that sort of works. It's very tedious, very, very tedious, where you go over and over again with different colours to try to get it. Do I always do drawing tutorial lives? No, this is my second one. So we're gonna we're just gonna give this a bit of character with these lovely, lovely little hair details, which I can't see because my lighting isn't idealized for this. So we've got these little hair details. It's really hard to see on camera, but there's different shades of browns and such that come out, and then just gonna make this pop a bit more. And then we're gonna work on the blonde, which is a lot easier to work with. A lot easier to work with. Hello, people. So we're just gonna give this a lot more emphasis almost. And then, so now that we've got sort of the blonde and the brown in the patchworks, we're going to take our trusty white crayon of the Marker World Colourless Blender to try to add highlights. Yeah, okay, I'll stop for a little while. I'll just add some highlights really slowly. And then also probably edit a bit more of these things. And then also I can do some, which is the pretty boring part is doing the testing for the clothes colours, which are usually also very fun to do sarcastically. So yeah, we're gonna pull in our trusty swatch sheet, and I'm thinking for this thing, I'm thinking of a really dark green of some sort, or maybe actually a dark grey blue would look really nice. That gives more. Okay, so this blue, and this blue looks like they would go very nicely. Here, I'll show you. These three blues here, sort of thing, for the apron. And then probably to make the outfit feel like it matches a bit more, I'll also do it for the, for what we have here, the goggles. We'll do that. And then, I mean, I don't know I know what I'm going to do for the boots, because they're pretty fun to do. And probably also use these blues for the fingerless gloves. The shirt, we need something that will contradict, maybe even just a lighter blue if we want to. I guess we could, I mean, we could do a lighter blue for the jeans actually, because that would actually give it a bit more personality, using the cool greys to our advantage. Ow. Impossible to open these Ohuhu markers. Ow. Impossible. Yes. Alright, so we've got the blues that we're going to use for this apron. Now, again, starting, can you see there's still the faint fold lines that we made? So with these fold lines, you're just going to want to follow these folds. And remember, no folds are 2D. So you really want to find these shadows and emphasize them to sort of make it, I went over the lines a bit. It's okay to colour outside the lines sometimes. I regret my decisions. So we're going to make these folds a bit more obvious to the human eye. And then also just add in some shading bits as well. So, yep, that's working. So that's the shadows we've got so far. So we've got the shadows so far that are working for the apron. Then we're going to take our second darkest shade and go make like larger pockets of shadow sort of thing. Much larger, much more emphasized pockets of shadow that come around it. It may not be very obvious with depending on what shades you use, but you can always go over them later again. So yeah, we've got these, yeah, a lot more emphasized pockets of little shadows. All right, awesome. Sorry for my hands covering it up, I'll show you now. Try to colour from this angle. There, so we've got that. There's a second shadow, and then we're gonna usually find the other lighter colour and bring that in. I'm gonna use this bigger thing, risk it. I'm not gonna risk it. Not risking it. This blue is a lot brighter than the other one, but it does tone down eventually. And I am gonna probably go over this with a very light blue. So this is how the shadows are coming in now. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live. It will be out of time and such, but it will also help keep it together. So I'm just gonna come over this thing with this light blue to keep it, you know, intact and less confused. So yeah, that's it. And then we're gonna use a colorless blender again to blend in these colors. So we're just going to try to blend in these blues again, these blues. Yes, okay, so this is definitely going as per plan. Just got to get these, make sure there's no, unless it's the shadows, no really bold lining. So here's what we've got so far for the apron. Unfortunately, the camera can't pick up all the detail. It's a lot different in real time. So yeah, and then also I'm going to do the straps, which are a lot easier to figure out. There, and then just add a bit more character to it. There. And then we've got this strap down here, which we're going to use the darker shade for. I'm probably going to use this for the upper shades too, to keep this sort of, just to give it emphasis, so to make the actual tied up piece look a bit more bold and real. Alright, so we've got the apron, or not yet, I'm going to do little gold buckles. Again, you can do this with your own OCs too. You don't have to restrict it to just my OC, which I'm drawing as an example. Ow, hitting my hands on everything because a hoo-hoo marker's hurt to open. So yeah, we've got this apron done. Lovely little apron here. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So yeah, we're then gonna take, because we're doing again the lighter shades for these jeans. I'm gonna take this, that is like a lot darker than anticipated, but it lightens up eventually, don't worry. I'm gonna take this and just try to get the bulk of the shape in, you know? All right. So we've got the sort of shade here, the shadow. It's coming in very nicely. So yeah, that, and then I'm probably going to bring in also have a belt. We need a nice, much darker cool grey, which we don't have actually. Hold on. That might work. Yep, that works. So just going to have this. Awesome. Alright, so we've got that, and then again with the lighter shade going over it. I do remember you, don't worry. So just going to keep keep going with this lighter shade a little bit and make sure it's all ready. I know that it looks, again, I'm going to come in with these darker shades on the apron just to make it a bit more obvious that the apron is different from the actual thing. I'm going to make the apron a lot darker. Alright, so this is coming together very, very well. Very slowly, but very well. That's how it is to do art. It comes together slowly. Alright. So we've made the apron a bit more we've made the apron a lot more like nice and why is it doing that? Sorry. We've made the apron a lot more it stands out a lot more from the actual thing, which is really, really useful. Again, with the colourless blended, just to make sure the colours stick to each other and look like they are part of something. No offense. And then taking these greys and putting it for the undertone, like that, because you know the inside of jeans are usually grey and he's got these rolled up. We're just going to want to have it nicely prepared, nicely done. Alright, so there we've got the little cuffs that he's got, which I think work really nicely. For the shirt, I think I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the shirt, but I do want to finish the straps for the goggles on his head, so we're going to just work with that. They're not going to be that hard to do because there's not much large bits of detail that we need to put onto them. They just need to be obvious to be straps. There, so that's what we've got so far. They can be darker if you want to. And casually just gonna put these goggles here. Art is very, very tedious if you want it to be. It really depends on what you're trying to draw, whether it's just a quick doodle or actually something you want to draw. It's confusing. Wow, shading this is hard. Shading something so small has never been so hard. Alright, so we've got that. We've got the shading here, and then we're going to do the gloves. Again with this dark blue so that it matches. Just going to make this darker so it stands out again. A lot of standing out for this. We just want it to stand out and be bold. Which is actually coming together really nicely if we keep layering it up. And then using the colourless blender again to just work with it. And just sort of I know it all looks like a big splodge on screen because the camera quality isn't high enough to pick up the actual bits that I do with the colourless blender. It should bring out the shadows a bit more, which I think it does faintly. Again, it's not very good at picking up the other bits and bobs. Alright, going back to these gloves. I am thinking I'm going to make the shirt sort of definitely stick out a bit more. Maybe keep it a light colour. The gloves I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, and I know I'm probably going to move on to the boots. This boy needs a good pair of leather boots. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to give him some leather boots. I'm going to find some nice shades we can use. Either that, or I'm going to give him some really neat red boots, which may actually add to his personality a bit more, but it may not complement his hair. Unless I made red goggles too. I made his goggles red. That might work, so we're going to do red. Make it fabulous and make it red. So we're going to use this shade of red. Let's see. This shade of red. we're gonna have a lighter, not pink. Yeah, that works. That should keep it together. Is this gonna be red or is it gonna be pink? Because there's always a fine line. All right, so we've got 4 reds we can work with, which I think will work very well. I'm gonna start with the darker wine red. All right, so just gonna, I think for these shoes, I am going to just work around it because I think the shading should be a lot smoother on these boots because they're going to be steel capped too to make it even more fabulous. All right. So that's actually coming together nicely. All right, yep. So this may look really compact for now because we're just still getting onto it. All right, so we've got the compact part, gonna add in this red, which is not gonna make much of a difference. It's just gonna bring out the other bits a bit more. Wow, this is so hard to do with such small little details. Oh. All right, so just tell me if I'm going a bit too fast and whether you want me to slow down a bit more. All right, so we're gonna add this in. And then we're gonna take the lighter shade to add the other bits of detailing in. This is gonna be really confusing at first because it's just gonna look like a random bit of red has just popped out of nowhere. But it hasn't, we're working with it. All right, so keep that going like that. Then again, coming over it with some of this, which I'm going to shade in with this red. Shade, shade, shade. Shading is hard work. We'll take it. All right, so it's working out a little bit. The boots, the red boots are coming, sorry, I forgot they were off screen. The red boots are coming together nicely. They're having very nice fashion sense, I have to say, red boots. Trying to get this red to blend a bit nicer and neater. And then I'm going to have grey laces to match the steel caps of the boots. They're sort of like Converses, but boots. But like leather boots, but it's red. But they're red Converses. Red Converse leather boots. That sounds like something that needs to be made immediately. As of now, I declare red leather Converse boots to need to be a thing. And they have to be high-topped. Don't ask me why, they just do. Alright, so gonna give the steel caps and the steel straps. Caps and straps. These undone straps. And again with the steel straps and the steel cap. Alright, working with it, and then we're gonna give him a bit of a heel. Alright, so that's looking good. Alright, so we're gonna, yeah, that's looking really good. Stop sliding, stay in view. Alright, can I make a challenge? Sure. The most cute thing. I can try. I mean, I may forget just because I have a lot of tutorial videos I have to set up for people to help them out a little bit. But you are very kind. Adding a bit of this grey just for the texturing. Alright, so coming together slowly but surely, we're getting there, Woo! Alright, so we've got these boots. They're looking good for now. I'm probably going to work on like the little spots and stuff later on. The little spots and stuff that need work will be worked on later on because I just want to give this boy red gloves too. Or red goggles actually would work better than the gloves because the goggles are really subtle and nice. So this is going to be hard to do, but I think I have an idea. So we're just going to like come in with these really small lines And then if I use my colourless blender, that's not a colourless blender, that's a colourless blender. If I use that and try to blend it in a circle, then it should work the way I hope it will in making it look like an actual goggles. Yeah, there you go. Easy. That went way better than I thought it would. And they match the boots because we need fashion sense within this actual thing. So with these gloves, I'm going to give them actually red sleeves, or sort of like red rimming, so that it would work very nicely on the actual character. These nice red rimmings, and then have it shaded to red. There you go. So I think that adds a nice touch to it. And probably I could do red rimmings up on the little sleeves. This isn't Percy, no, it's just a new guy. A new unnamed guy. Alright, so we've got these little red rims up on the sleeves as well. To give them a bit of just getting the character in for this one. Because remember, like, colours and the colours that you use for your character can completely show their personality in a way, show how they act, what they act like in that sort of, in a weird way. It's hard to explain. And then I think I'm just gonna, just to keep it simple, I think I'm just gonna keep the t-shirt white. And I don't know whether the gloves would work red or would work grey. I think grey, but I don't know. So we're just going to keep the t-shirt white, which would work very nicely if it lets me. If 'tis allowed, it shall. Alright, so actually allowing it a little bit. Then adding that detail over here. I am reading your comments. I'm trying to keep up with that and the fact that my brain gets distracted easily from actually teaching you guys how to draw. It's quite funny. Alright, so we've got the belt right there. And then we're going to use a cool grey to sort of shade this nicely. So we've got all the shadows that are coming in now, all these shadows that are coming into play. And then as you bring these shadows into play, the shirt will slowly sort of gain its shape and form in a way. It's going to be a bit of an old looking shirt, it's going to look a bit old and a bit overused and such. That's exactly how I need it to look. Again, to sort of portray your character's personality, which is how you really want to have it done. So you just need to keep portraying this person's or your character's personality. Like here I've put like notes on how to draw from the other live on what gives your character the best sort of the best way to like sort of portray their personality. And then I'm going to get a really dark grey for this wrench. Yeah, that works. Alright, so since I've covered up most of my nice work on the fingers, which is annoying. Oh well. It works in its own way. Alright, so we've got this wrench looking thing with some sort of look to it. Sort of like old look, oldish. It's getting there. We're just going to keep going on this wrench. And yeah, that looks good. So yeah, we've got that. We're going to work on these gloves too. I don't know what colour I'm going to do them though. I feel like I should keep with the theme of the white, just to give a bit less of a dark look to this character. So I'm thinking, yeah, the white may work. So we're going to follow like the wrist shape, the palm shape for that. And this one is a lot easier for shading. Got that. And then we're going to take the cool grey. I'm just reading out the names of the colours. So we're going to keep these shades into play. And then we're going to take a really, really light grey just to give it that extra touch, almost. And then, again, with our white crayon of the Ohuhu world, the colours blender, please focus. Auto-focusing cameras never do as per asked, but whatever. We take it, we love it, we go. Alright, so we're nicely shading and keeping these shadows nice and, nice and relaxed. There you go. I think the white works really well, actually, now that I look at it. So I'm going to put these colours away, and then we're going to work on the eye colour, which I think a very nice... I kind of want an eye colour that pops, in a way, but I'm not sure what kind of eye colour would work. So I'm going to do some really light shading on the eye itself before I add the eye colour, and then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. It's literally just a line or two for the eye, and then, yep, and then now I have to figure out what eye colour I'm going to do. I could do brown, or like a really nice sort of vibrant brown-ish. That would give, I guess I could try that. Could try. 30th stream anniversary, that's awesome. So, okay, so I think this eye colour actually works nicely. I'm going to add a bit of a darker shade to it. Alright. And then, again, shade this in. It's really tedious shading, wow. Alright, so we've got that. The pupils are a bit, it's a bit big, but we can take it, because I can actually edit it, make it smaller using a white Posca pen. So we've got this so far, and then we're just going to want to sort of find a way to make the hair and stuff stand out, which I think I can do using some shading, some shadows, which isn't going to work, so I may just use a pencil for outlining and such. But first I want to get some sort of small fine liner of a different colour. I'm going to use brown because I want to add things like skin blemishes, and also I'm going to actually add dirt before I add skin blemishes. So we're going to want to find I'm using a really sort of, yeah, that works. And then I'm going to do, I like this trick where I take a really thin sheet of paper, put it over where I want the dirt to be, and then just colour over it a couple of times. And it should, yeah, there. It starts to come through and look like a smudge. And then I'm going to do that here too. This is going to take a while, so I'm using the thicker side. So yeah, with this trick works really nicely. Yeah, sort of see, there's a smudge on his face for that, and then we're going to add one on his arm. And there sort of looks like sort of dirt and such. Oh, thanks. I paint my nails, I'm not allowed to wear nail polish at school, so I just specially paint it for live streams. So we're adding some dirty spots onto his clothing, making it look really personalized almost. A couple of things on the knees and such. Yeah, I think on the knees it would work really well on the knees. Yeah, that sort of works, and then we'll also add some on the gloves. Smudges on the arms. Just so that it looks, so yeah, we've got that, and then I'm actually gonna blend it with some colourless blender. Make it blend in a bit more, just look like smudges, almost. at some points, make it lighter at some points, darker at others. So yeah, it's starting to look almost just like little smudges on his clothing, and then when we add outlines and such, we'll take away little parts that have smudged over a bit too much. So then again, with this nice little fine liner, we're just gonna quickly just add some, like, I think I'm just gonna add some like blemishes. Instead of, it's sort of like freckles that have joined together in a way, is how I imagine it. And then we're gonna have some on his arms too. And then also down here he's got like leg hair, so we're just gonna add that in this fine liner. And then with the leg hair, you're just gonna want like different thicknesses, I think, or lengths, to add a bit more sort of touch to it. Like that, that works. And then, yeah. I think I may like do that with his eyes. I don't know whether that works or not. I think that does. Because he also has an eyebrow sort of like arched here and bent down here, which you won't really see very well. Sorry, was I a bit fast? Sorry. So we've got, we're gonna have sort of the, like, sort of just to outline the eyes, make them look a bit more realistic. And then give him sort of like a look, a mischievous look. So we've got that, and then I don't know whether I'm just going to darken a bit of the shadings and such in a way, or I can just, I don't know whether outlining the face would work with this brown or not. It may actually work a bit. So I may do that. So you're going to want to take a sort of fine liner of like a darker colour that you think would work, depending on what your style is, and just start shading it. Like that sort of thing. That should take 3 minutes. I'm so confused. Then we're gonna just really, really light, thin lines that I'm gonna use for this. Just to sort of bring out the skin in a way. And also the hair. Which I guess we can use. I don't think we can use this. I think we're going to have to use a different shade for the hair, but we can. For the skin it works. So we're just going to... There. So we've got like adding the really small little details. A really small little... Yeah, the part 3 is going to be things like the background and such. Like drawing the background and then colouring the background probably in a part 4, depending on how long it takes me to draw a background. Almost. Because I don't know why, I'm imagining this kid as a race car driver by this point. He looks like a race car driver. I do some kart driving myself and it's quite fun. Alright, so we've got like the... So we've got like the little, we've got that brown I'm using for the outline, and then I'm going to try to find a nice sort of really pale yellow for the blonde that I'm going to use. That's a dry pen. Most of these pens are actually dry because they're very old. That could work. I think actually the brown, I don't know. That definitely doesn't work, but I'm going to use this darker... Excuse me, I would like to borrow that. I'm going to use this darker brown for the actual, this one here. So, this darker brown for the actual dark hair here. Because it will probably show up a bit better. So I'm going to push hard with this so it shows up nicely and clear. So it's going to keep this... It's sort of just going to add a bit more of a pop to the actual hair design. And then I'm going to use that same light brown for the blonde because it actually looks pretty good. And then again, use some greys for the t-shirt. It's not going to be very dark greys. I may actually, you know what, I can just wing it with a pencil for the t-shirt. I think I'm lucky in that way. So you're just going to want to follow along the sort of hair line. I don't think my camera's going to be able to pick up the line art I'm doing. But if I am correct, it may pick it up a very small, very, very, very petite bit. If I bring it up close enough and it focuses, there's like, you can see it you may see it better on the blonde because I think that would work better. So I just have to be really light with the blonde. And then keep there. Sort of like that. Ish. It doesn't look that great, honestly, but I'm gonna probably gonna use the dark brown outliner to outline it a bit better. To outline this blonde a little bit better, which I think works. And then I'm gonna take this colorless blender and try to blend in the other lines that I've done. I don't think it will work. I think I've made a bit of a mistake on the hair there, but whatever. I can work on that later using the thing I was working on here. So we're gonna take this. That's too light. Let me grab the darker shade. Touch darker shade. And then the other shade that I was using, which please don't say I've lost. It was brown grey, wasn't it? Yeah, just about. This is how to fix mistakes. Sort of. Yeah, I'll lighten that up later when it's dried out a bit more. So we've got that, and then I'm just going to try to wing it with my little trusted mechanical pencil. For the shirt, which I think is working actually well with these. For my line work, I do thin lines depending on what style I'm trying to portray. So with this, I'm definitely doing thinner lines a little bit to give it just a subtle, just make it bolder in the most subtle way possible. Sort of like that again. I'm going to do that with all my grey shades. I'm just going to use a pencil because I don't have anything good. There, like that. And then again I'm going to try to do it with the boots too, with this grey, just to make the steel caps a lot more obvious. So yeah, amazing. We've got the little straps on the steel cap boots. We still need a name for this guy, so we'll have to work on that. I think the blonde hair's actually pulled itself together and stopped having a meltdown, which I think is good. I'm not sure about you. All right. That sort of works. Here's what we've got so far. This sort of outlines itself, but just for precaution, I'm going to grab a nice dark blue, test it out. That's not dark enough, which gets annoying, so I'm going to have to search to the very ends of an earth. Oh, is this? Nope. Wow, this is going to take a while. I could challenge myself and use a liquid ink, but the thing is with liquid ink is it's going to bleed. If I don't use it correctly, it will bleed, which I want to avoid. Okay, this might work. If I just... It's a bit bright for the scenario, a little bit, but it might just... I don't think so. I may have to just pull through with a pencil again. Again with the pencil. So If you just rewind the live stream for anything you want to have missed, I covered the shading and such on that. Actually, that blue may, now that I've taken a second slash third slash 14th look at it, it may be okay. It may just be good enough for the apron if I sort of stick it in a bit more to the, stick more to the actual colour. So yeah, we've got this nice little, it's working actually very nicely, it's very subtle, very light, and very nice. There, so like that. Yeah, actually looking at that, that does work. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to test out some of these shades for the jeans because the jeans are lighter. That's way too light. Okay, so I've got this nice subtle blue that may, again, it's liquid ink and I may be pushing myself to the limits using this. But, because if liquid ink bleeds, it bleeds everywhere. So it's actually working. Wow. Now that is a surprise and a half. And actually it looks really nice with the liquid ink. I may just use the pen to shade over the pencil as well. So if we shade it over the pencil as well, it will actually fully turn out very nicely. Okay, yeah, that actually works. Now to casually thieve a red. That's a red. Please be a red and not a green. That's a red. A very crushed red, but it's a red, which means it can work. So will it show up? No, it won't. This is starting to get annoying since I'm unprepared. I'm sorry. So, yeah. Unpreparedness is next to godliness. Not really. It's not very. We'll take it. So I'm just going to search through this little tray until I find a red that is close. It's nice dark, but yep, you know what? I'm going to try Sharpie. That may work. Oh my gosh. Sharpie has surprised me because usually they don't. Okay, so the Sharpie kind of worked, but it blends in a bit too much. It blends into the reds a bit too much. So that is a bit annoying, but it does show up. So I guess I could clean up the red on the gloves too using it. Okay. Sharpie, you surprised me. I'm sorry for roasting you multiple times. Still not my most recommended brand though. But I'm just going to add small touches to the straps just to make them a bit more bolder. I think that works. So that's him coloured in, which I think works very well for it, since we only managed to do this in an hour. So we've got this colour in. Next live stream, should I show the book I'm working on? I mean, next live stream I was going to work on the background, but I guess I could do the book. I guess for a plus I could also like do a small little room reveal for this live stream if you guys promise to tag me in the art you did this live stream, so I really want to see how you do. So I think that would be awesome if you can. Though it's a bit hard to show a book on a live stream because again you can't really read through an entire novel, or it's not an entire novel because it's unfinished. But yeah, currently I'm going to grab a rubber and I'm just going to like purge all of these little notes I have of this character. You can get the like screenshots and such from my actual, I think, community board. So I'm thinking race car driver with this guy. I don't know what you guys. Alright, so this is the sort of finished bit of this part of the live stream, the colouring part of the main character, to bring him into sort of view. Yeah, so this is so far for our character. We haven't got a name for him yet, and we've sort of got a job, not really. But yeah, Rodolfo, I don't know about that name. That name confuses me. But yeah, remember to tag me in the work you do. I'm gonna put some notes on here for you guys for the, so again, you're gonna want to work with the color. So here's some notes from like the live stream. You're gonna work with color. The color can equal the personality, and then also things like small details. So you're gonna really want to tune into these details, like the dirt. So we've got the dirt. We've got like the maybe tool, or like the tool / prop. Since we've got like the wrench over here, we've got like the smaller details like an undone, sort of like, again, a detail here of like the undone lace, which gives another, Austin is actually a good name. I'll write that down and see whether it fits him. Things like that, or things sort of like maybe the way he stands. This is from the last live stream too. Stance can help. The shading to show like maybe the light, where the light's coming from, you're going to want to show. And again, with the dirt, you just really want to focus on things like the small details, like maybe even the folds in his clothing can help. The eye color, hair color, like the small details on the skin also can look very nice if you do it right. So here's what we've got so far. Anyway, so I'm probably going to end, this live stream was pretty quick because I'm sorry if I went too fast for you, but you can always rewatch the live stream off the, when it's gotten posted, because it gets posted up on my channel automatically. So thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are like, he does kind of look Italian, maybe he is, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. You guys are amazing. Please tag me in the art you've done, because I really want to see it. Yeah, sorry it's been a short live stream, but next live stream we're probably going to work on drawing the background, and then maybe even colouring it if we get time, if the live stream is as short as I thought. Anyway, may even live stream later. I am good, thank you. Sorry, the live stream's ending now. You're a bit late. It's fine, sorry. But yeah, bye. You guys are really awesome, thank you.